for law enforcement to find you. So that's one thing that you would do, and it's pretty complicated, but it's very doable.
Okay, so Tumblr services. Can you break that down for me? Because that's interesting.
That is interesting. Basically, it's almost like BitTorrent.
Sure.
Yeah, it's almost like that for transactions. So it's a service that will take a whole bunch of transactions, put them together in their little dark web Tumblr.
Sure.
Break the transactions up into even smaller parts, and then parse them back out. So I have $500, you have $500. We both send it into the Tumblr. It gets broken down maybe into $1 increments, maybe smaller. Put it all back together. You get $500 back. I get $500 back. But it's not the same $500. So again, just makes it harder for law enforcement or for anybody to trace that money.
We're speaking to the Wall Street Journal's Paul Pena about the WannaCry virus and Bitcoin. You're listening to the Wall Street Journal's Tech News Briefing.
You rely on the Wall Street Journal for informed market insights and news coverage. Now let WSJ Wine give you the inside track to the world's smartest wine buys delivered conveniently to your door. Highlights of your first case included 99-point Super Tuscan and a gold medal Bordeaux from the exceptional 2015 vintage. Order now to receive $100 in savings and free shipping. Simply go to wsjwine.com/sip or call 877-WSJ-WINE.
Thanks for joining us. So ultimately, perhaps this highlights some of the limitations of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and maybe it's important to think about that if we're being thoughtful tech folk, and that's what we like to be in this podcast. So.
The real, like I said at the top, the real benefit for criminals in using Bitcoin is really the ease of use.
Right.
It's not the anonymity. It's not the ability to get money and never be caught, because you do leave this paper trail, and there are some high-profile cases where people, once law enforcement can attach your identity to these transactions, they have everything you've done.
Right.
Like at that point, you're done. You're caught. So still, really, I mean, if you're really, not that I'm giving criminals advice, but I mean, if you're going out there to commit a crime, you're still probably better off trying to use cash.
Interesting chapter in this whole WannaCry virus saga. So, and if there's anyone who can break down anything Bitcoin related for us, I think it's you, Paul Vigna. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Thanks again to the Wall Street Journal's Paul Vigna, who writes for MoneyBeat and also is the host of the MoneyBeat podcast. Head to WSJ.com/podcast for more. That'll do it for the Tech News Briefing. I'm Tanya Bustos in New York. Thanks for listening.
The Future of Everything podcast from the Wall Street Journal. Coming Friday, May 19th. What's the future of space and the law?
Companies like Elon Musk's SpaceX.
High-tech guns.
This is about choice and types of guns offered for sale.
Brain implants.
They didn't know how effective this was going to be.
Urban farming.
What about a building that's 30 stories tall?
And the mass production of meat.
Now these cells came from a duck.
The Future of Everything podcast from the Wall Street Journal. Coming Friday, May 19th.
Hey podcast listeners, the Journal is excited to announce a brand new podcast series launching Friday, May 19th called The Future of Everything. On the show, we'll explore how science and technology are revolutionizing everything, from business and industry to culture and society. The Future of Everything podcast is sponsored by Slack. Companies all over the world depend on Slack every day to get everything done. Slack, where work happens. We look forward to you joining us as we embark on this exciting new series. So be sure to subscribe now by visiting WSJ.com/podcasts or visit the Future of Everything page on your podcast app.
In which Apple gets glamorous. A look at Apple Park, its new headquarters, which could signal the tech industry's newfound love for splashy big architecture.
This is Tech News Briefing from the Wall Street Journal.
Welcome. This is the Wall Street Journal's Tech News Briefing. I'm Tanya Bustos in New York. So Apple employees last month began testing the company's latest big idea, Apple Park. It's a lavish-like corporate campus which would move 12,000 employees from Cupertino, California, to a 2.8 million square foot circular building that resembles a spaceship. Let's get more on Apple's big and sleek change up of scenery from the Wall Street Journal's Trip Mickle, patching in from San Francisco. Hi, Trip.
Hey, Tanya.
This fancy Apple Park campus, can you walk us through it? Can you give us a taste of Apple Park?
Sure. I mean, this is a project that Steve Jobs really initiated back in 2009. He wanted to bring a signature corporate campus to Silicon Valley, which hadn't really had one. And in working with the architect Norman Foster, developed this design that really looks like a spaceship that will descend on land formerly owned by HP. And it's going to be complemented by a very sophisticated theater that was designed, according to a few architects that worked on the project, to look like a MacBook Air suspended in space. It's going to have a carbon fiber roof that rests directly on circular glass walls that surround it, and so it'll give the illusion that this kind of carbon fiber roof is suspended in space. And it's really complicated apparently to design and then deliver, especially when you think about the fact that this is a earthquake-prone region of the country.
And this move from Apple seems to follow a trend.
And
that
that
companies
is
like
that.
Facebook